The president said in his inaugural speech that we will be reviewing multiplicity of taxes. And now if you're adding new tax, what does that mean? You're actually adding to already existing multiple taxes. So the best thing to do is to stop adding any new taxes, review what we already have, simplify them, and then identify how you want to tax. And again, we're also very mindful of the impact of this multiplicity of taxes on Nigerians, on especially the consumers of these products. Because the manufacturers and the telcos, they may need to put on any tax, they actually pass through those taxes to the consumers. So your core charges begin to go up, and the prices that you're paying for even locally manufactured goods begin to go up. So the president and this administration is very sensitive to the plight of the Nigerians, and like he's already promised, we will ensure that the suffering is reduced and also ensure that businesses operate in a more friendly environment where we manage taxes in a way that it is also very business friendly. In addition to, of course, we are here looking for increased revenue, but it should not be at the expense of the average Nigerians. That's basically the reason for the suspension of the taxes. The regulators, for the telcos, the NCC, and for the manufacturers through their different manufacturing association and their regulators. So we are very, very aware of the inflationary effect this is causing, and for us is a major policy trust that we have to manage and regulate price. If we have to, maybe also introduce price controls where necessary, and that's going to your question, because basically you're asking, is there going to be a price control to manage these costs so that the consumers don't inevitably carry on costs that no one is helping to protect them? So yes, we're already working on those and we're already engaging with the regulators. Thank you.
Ultimately, as you know, there's a consumer protection agency. And as we effect this suspension, we believe that any cost that has been passed over to the consumers will also be suspended. And this will be enforced through the consumer protection agencies of the government. We do know that ultimately, as all my colleagues have said, the ultimate gain is to alleviate the plight of Nigerians, and we will ensure that this is done through the appropriate agencies of government. Thank you.
As you rightly said, that there is plan or possibly proposal for road taxes that we took what? Petroleum tax. So if you look at the current price template, that has already been included. So there is nothing. This suspension has nothing to do on that. So in the pricing structure that you have for the PMS today, all those have been included. There's no new taxes that we are bringing in there. So, and then like my colleagues have said, one of the key focus of this administration is to harmonize our taxes, the way we collect it. Mr. President actually wants to simplify and make it friendly to business, the way we operate taxes in Nigeria. And as we know that when you talk about the revenue management, it's not only in tax collection. The starting point is our economic policy, because our aim is not to tax poverty. Our aim is not to tax production. Our aim is to increase our productive activity, capacity to produce. Then we can tax our consumption. And that is the direction of our economic planning. And then we want to increase the trust that we have in government. And if you observe what has happened in the last few days, the last few months that we've been here, we've kept to our word. Part of what we are doing today, just to increase this trust, that we are here to do what is the best for the country. And lastly, is that we have a robust plan to improve our collection management, the compliance management, because that is what is needed. So we are not going to impose new taxes. It's the one that we have that we improve the collection, the management, and the efficient use of those resources. And that is the pledge and the promise of Mr. President, which we are here to make sure it comes to reality.
To constantly alleviate whatever pains that they are experiencing in whatever sector of the economy. And the suspension, all these executive orders, the essence is just to ensure that negative impacts of any economic dynamic or policy is reduced to the barest minimum. and ensure that life is less difficult for the average Nigerian. That is the essence, the summation of all of this. And the government will continue to look out for the interest of the greatest good, of the greatest number of Nigerians. That is the watchword of this administration. That is our mantra, and that is the president's own goal and objective.